Parliament got together and sent out a joint statement basically saying that they are strongly urging the American government to allow there to be a public trial in front of the Afghan people as a lesson to those in the future. They are also closing Parliament for the day in protest because of the recent killings. There's a lot of different information coming out depending on who you talk to from the area where this happened. It was in the Panjshir district of Kandahar, which is in western Kandahar. We were able to listen to some villagers and see some gruesome images coming out of there. We saw images that included images of dead babies, an image of a few people who had been burned very, very heavily and were dead lying in the backs of trucks. Villagers were weeping, men, women, weeping openly, some of them unable to speak because of their sorrow. But eventually that sorrow turned to anger. They said, look, the American forces told us to come back to these villages, and now this has happened. What are they trying to say? What are they trying to do to us? We do know that with strong statements have come out from President Hamid Karzai, who has called it unforgivable and an act of terror. And people are really saying we have to see justice in this case. Now, analysts are saying, look, this really plays into the hands of the Taliban. The Taliban has already said that it will seek revenge for these killings. 16 people, including 9 children, 3 women and 4 men. Now, there are several others, about 5 people who have been wounded, and they're being cared for by coalition forces and a coalition medical center. Now, all along, the International Security Assistance Forces have been saying that this was the act of a lone soldier who was acting on his own, that this was not a part of any mission, and that he went off base in the early morning hours of Sunday while it was still dark, between 2 and 3 in the morning, and ended up creating this terrible situation there in the Panjshir district. Right now, though, we're also hearing from villagers who have been saying that there were more than 1 soldier on the ground, though no one has yet said that there was more than 1 soldier shooting into homes. But apparently someone went door to door, opening the doors, kicking them in, and shooting the people inside, Manisha.
Well, there was already a particularly difficult relationship, wasn't there, between locals and NATO forces of any kind. Where does this leave that relationship, do you think?
I think it leaves it broken, and it leaves it further strained. People, especially in this area, but other Afghans are looking at this saying, okay, what are we supposed to do with this? People want justice right away, and as you know, when these investigations take place, they're usually quite thorough, and they're not normally very fast. And people are asking for fast action, but they also are wondering how a trained soldier, they just can't fathom how a trained soldier would be let off base this way without anyone being able to see him and then commit this sort of act. So there is a lot of frustration and certainly a lot of distrust, more distrust against American forces and coalition forces in the area. So I think this is going to be a bit of a dangerous time for foreign forces who are here on the ground in Afghanistan. And as you know, there's a trickling out. People are slowly moving out of the country. This is making it very hard on those still on the ground, and of course, a terrible, terrible time for the villagers who are having to bury their loved ones today.